Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim from the Public Hygiene Council. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning on a Saturday at the J.O.E and Sumon's Sustainability Experience Center. On behalf of the organizers and the partners, we would like to give a warm welcome to everyone here. Hope you all will be able to enjoy the workshop that we have to offer. And will be able to submit wonderful designs for the competition. So thank you for joining us for the Bulky Ways to Wonder design workshop. I will go straight to share what's the program for today. Yeah, so this will be the program. We'll be inviting some of our speakers to share a bit more and do their warm welcome before we invite our experts in this area to share their skills and knowledge to all of you. And after that, we will be sharing a bit more on the submission process as well. And then we will end off with the Q&A. So hold your questions. You can ask all your questions later. I would also like to acknowledge our guests and friends who are joining us on Zoom as well. So they are watching and attending the workshop with us today on Zoom. Okay, without waiting for time, can I invite Ms. Gloria Tan, our Executive Director for Public Hygiene Council, up, please?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming so early today, bright and early on a Saturday morning. Welcome to the Bulky Ways to Wonder Design Workshop that we're holding. First and foremost, before I start, I would like to actually thank all our partners here. So, Ministry of Education, who actually has been in collaboration with us for a long time to actually conduct competitions for the schools. So, and of course, J.O.E Eco Alliance. J.O.E stands for Just One Earth. They're actually a non-profit organization and they have been very helpful and supportive in actually organizing this workshop together with us. They are also a strong partner who will actually be working with us through all this, the duration of this competition. So, and of course, the venue partners, J.O.S and Sunon, this whole sustainability center here that you see is very nicely done up. You know, there's a story in everything, and I think you'll marvel a bit later when we actually take you through the tour. So thank you for the partnership in that. And of course, I would like to acknowledge, all our design workshop facilitators that's here today as well. You know, we have partners who have actually come with, so we have E3 Design, who is actually supporting us in terms of the interior. So they will actually help us with the build of the furniture or the items that have been repurposed. Then we have JLL Design Solutions. We have Clement here who will actually be sharing later, telling us, what's the best way to actually use spaces and what are the fundamentals of good design. Then, of course, we have Singapore Furniture Industries Council as well. They're actually a very key partner for us because, they are the industry leader, right? So they actually have, they'll be actually doing the judging during the competition itself, and of course they will join us at the prize presentation. Now, of course, Eyelid, who will actually be also presenting later. So thank you for that, and basically, I think I've seen the work. Later on, you will see it for yourself as well. They're very, very interesting designs. You will actually see it's amazing how things can actually be transformed into something else. So I hope that you will be inspired by all that sharing. And then, of course, we have Hygiene as well. They're actually an OEM manufacturer. They will actually help us to manufacture the products that will actually be displayed later on. Okay, so I want to touch a little bit in terms of competition objectives. So as you know, this workshop today is really to equip the participants of this competition, right, with knowledge and of course with the techniques and tips to actually show you how to work on a good design. So a well-designed piece of repurposed item actually takes a lot of thinking. So, but before we do that, we actually need to start with that trigger point. When we actually think about, okay, before I actually throw away something, do I really throw away? Is this really worthless? So we need to actually trigger people to start thinking about that. And with that, when then you can think about, oh, what is it that I can do with this piece of item? So actually, before I start off, can I ask a question here? And the person with the correct answer will actually get this. It's our limited edition plushie. Okay, this is called the Trashimon. The story behind Trashimon is you just throw everything into Trashimon and you will eat it all up. Okay? So don't leave litter or don't leave waste lying around, they should all go into the bin. So the right answer will actually get this. My question is, do you know how much solid waste is actually being generated as a year? Anybody? If nobody's going to put up their hands, I'm going to pay. 30,000 tons? Okay, maybe can I have another one more before I disclose the answer? Yes. Around 7 million? Where are you from? Can you introduce yourself? Swiss Cottage. And your name is? Malaysia. Yes, you're very close to the right answer. So it's actually 7.39 million tons. What is 7.39 million? It's actually 1 million habitants. It's a lot, right? So there's actually a lot of solid waste actually being generated. And there's a lot more that we can achieve this. So this is for you. Thank you for your right answer. Okay, all right. So I think, like I mentioned earlier, really is to rethink, right? So rethink, reuse so that we can reduce. So that is what I would like to leave you on with. And do you actually see all these pictures? Have you actually seen this at the time that's It's quite a common sight in Singapore. Right? So in fact, actually, this one was taken by one of our colleagues downstairs, maybe below her blog just yesterday, right? Yeah. So, all these items like a piano, yes, of course, it's all worn out. But really, is it really not usable? Or even if it's not usable in its original form, right? We can actually make it into a different item altogether. So that's something that we would like everybody to start thinking about. All right, so I have another question. Okay, this is my last question. All these items that are actually left here, right? Do you think it's an act of littering? Do you think it's right? Does it mean that if you leave it near the bin center, if you leave it near the bin, it's actually not littering? Anybody? It's quite the same. Can you introduce yourself?
Data from Raffles goes through, and I believe that it is actually littering because it's not actually in the bin, and especially taking up public space. And it's also waste that is not supposed to be there, so really is good.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the answer is correct. It actually is confusing because everything when it's trash, right, it should go inside the bin, as you said. Otherwise, it's still hazardous, right? And it's still, considered, it will still create the potential health threats, with germs. So, we encourage everybody to achieve it. Thank you. This for you. Okay, so as I mentioned, we really want to address the littering problem at the source. So in the first place, if we don't have the waste items, there won't be any chance of actually people doing the job. So please do consider that when you have any items that you think that you might want to dispose of. So this campaign this year, or the competition itself, is actually our third year in doing so. So every year we do a different competition, but I think for this competition, there's actually a lot of room. We are maybe going to expand it next year. There are actually plans to do so. So this year is the first time that we're actually conducting this particular competition, and we actually open it to all secondary school students aged between 13 to 17 years old. And so without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Kim, and I hope that you actually find today's session useful as well as enjoyable. So we look forward to seeing some masterpieces from all of you soon. Thank you.
Okay, now
Can I invite
our Mr. Andrew Khng, Chairman of the Public Hygiene Council, to do a quick opening address to everyone.
Morning, fellow partners, J.O.E, Triple I want to bring you to this picture because I want to bring you this picture because I remember this game, not because of it's being disposed here. I actually watched a documentary, and this documentary is actually NHK. A similar piano was actually found during the tsunami period. And one of the composer, I get his name right, is Luigi Sakamoto. Oh, Mr. Ogawa, you should know him. Yeah. The thing that is, he took the piano and he took out everything, redo the piano into this magnificent kind. So can you imagine a piano like this, not even flooded in water, and it's thrown away. And that piano in Japan was much into the water because he painstakingly take out everything. And today the piano I think is still available. If I'm not mistaken, it's still in Japan. Yeah. So if you want to hear more about his works, Luigi Sakamoto, he's a very good musician. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to show you this because I have a lot of passion for all these kinds of waste. I think why are we here is because for Public Hygiene Council, we have a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues because we became an affluent society. The affluent society make us become having the culture of throwaway. And everything is throwaway. In fact, the last little meeting I had at the quota, I saw a very, very big, brand new, not even taken up yet. So it must be. Actual culture should stop because I think end of the day we are going to defeat what Earth has actually given us. So students here, friends, ladies and gentlemen, if we have that kind of throwaway culture, Earth doesn't sustain. We will not be able to live the next generation for the younger ones to be able to see what. So I think all this boils down to what has to do. This is another one. I was in Rio de Janeiro 2016. This guy that actually painstakingly took all the tiles, and it's today still there. It's an icon for Rio de Janeiro. He painstakingly did one tile. He did all the way. On top there's a church. Oh, he did all the way, and in 2016, this was very iconic place for the Olympics. They held it there. You can see a lot of people. The tiles, by the way, is not nice, but it was given donated. It was just placed. He's a Chilean. His name is Salaron. But the way that cultivate motivation, creativeness doesn't mean that we are not creative. We are creative. It's just that we need to get out of the box. We think. Okay? And the way to do it is right now. Right now, when you're sitting here, you can understand that there are things outside out there that we can actually pick up, and then remodel, repackage, and then even redefine what we're going to do. So now I'm very stressed. I wish I can recycle my specs. I think I have 10 people like Ogawa and Suman giving us this space to actually how we can like a real people trying to showcase about waste. Okay, and property waste food shops is actually like I'm here. Okay, what I did, J.O.E. And in fact, I just spoke to J.O.E. and I was telling him that I'm so impressed with this office. I went to his office. His office was really something. And I wish that we can invite everybody down there and go and take a look at his office also. But of course, we'll wait another. Okay, but here, also partners bring them with much experience and the expertise, and I hope that will inspire students. We will once like you want to inspire you want to actually do something, create the pathways to something else. Okay, and I think we also need, because you are also like minded, you also like changing, right? Because you already converted somehow, yes, you need to use, but do not stop here. Your friends, your school, your neighbors, everybody that's surrounding you, please also such things. You won't throw away, but there is a certain lease of life. And the way we have to go out, it's going to be a challenge. But if we see that we can remodel something out of trash, it will actually things that we do more, to perhaps to reduce all this kind of throw. So my message to you all is actually first is don't want to you, don't do this. Think twice, think 3 times, whether you need to buy. If you don't need to buy, you buy. Okay, because we do not need it sometimes. It's just the spur of the moment that you just buy. Okay, so don't have that kind of mindset. We all go through this. We all go through this. Right now, look at the plastic bags. I think the supermarkets, they don't allow you to take the plastic bags easily, right? You're going to pay the 5 cents. There is a change. There is a change now. You can see people moving away from saying that, okay, I want a plastic bag. And now they bring a tote bag. Students like yourself, you bring a tote bag. I also carry a tote bag. My car has 3 or 4 tote bags, to be very frank. How do I do that? Because what? We are trying to reduce. So here today the exercise of the event is actually from the expert's point of view, how do we create pathways into something that's valuable? And hopefully with this exercise and this event, you all can actually think out of the box and think more. Okay, so I think I would like to pass back to Khng. I drink all my water every time I taste the front, I'm not going to be in the front.
We go on. And now can I invite Mr. Ogawa from J.O.E. Equal Alliance to come and do his opening remarks as well. So we are taking as a director of J.O.E. Equal Alliance because Mr. Ogawa would like to do his remarks in Chinese. But Andrew will be helping to do the translation very efficiently.
Very good morning, everyone. The human chat GPT.
最近的新加坡公共卫生理事会主席、咨询董事 Gloria 尊敬的来宾、朋友们，早晨好！热烈欢迎大家来到3号的天空星，利用宝贵的周末假期，为新加坡可持续发展事业贡献力量。
Good morning, Chairman of the Public Hygiene Council, Mr. Andrew Khng, Executive Director, Ms. Gloria Tan, distinguished guests, dear students. Warm welcome to the J.O.E and Salon Experience Center. Thank you very much for dedicating your precious time and weekend to contribute to Singapore's sustainable development efforts.
新加坡被誉为花园城市，一直走在变革的前沿，以坚强意识和决心不断前行。然而，在我们向前迈进的同时，也逐渐认识到变革的需要创新。创新不仅仅是手里的高楼、科技创造的奇迹，更关涉到我们的要如何实践可持续发展，为这全覆盖留下一个美丽的图。
Singapore, as you know, often hailed as the garden city, has always been at the forefront of change, driving towards progress with a lot of determination. Yet, as we march forward, we find ourselves amidst a time where innovation is not just about the towering skyscrapers you see around you, or the technological marvels that is TikTok, but also about sustainable solutions that safeguard our environment and safeguard them for generations to come.
我们面临的挑战是如何通过极具创意、创新的方式来赋予旧物的原始生命、永续发展，并在这个过程中激发年轻的一代无限的创造力和想象力。
And therefore, the challenge we face today is how to creatively and innovatively give, all items a second life. How do we promote sustainable development and in the process as well inspire creativity and imagination in our younger generation?
所以在这里要让大家见证一个奇迹我们知道全世界渔业每年都有很多的渔网、标，还有绳索在废弃丢进海洋。
Yeah, so it's not just all talk. We also want to show you that it's actually possible. So I'm going to pull out this chair.
大家能想象这个椅子是用什么做的？
Can anyone take a guess at what this chair is made of?
这个就是我刚才说的，用的是渔网我们回收海洋里的塑料然后再生而且PCR 做成。
So before that, actually, Mr. Ogawa was saying that, as everybody knows, around the world, every year in the fishing industry, there's a lot of pollution. You will find in the ocean a lot of ocean plastic waste, which includes fishing nets and buoys. So actually, this chair is made out of all those materials.
这是今年5月份我们Clement 和商品牌和瑞士的BCK 设计工作室一起联合研发的。
So this chair actually Clement, in collaboration with a very well-renowned Swiss design firm, B4K, we co-developed this full H5 air sensing chair, of which 68% of it is actually recycled using ocean recycled fishing nets and other PCR recycled plastics. And the effect of this is this actually in fact reduces about 15 tons of plastic waste entering the ocean ecosystem. And the foldable design it has actually results in a 58% reduction in the packaging volume. So how much packaging it takes to actually transport this item. And because of the lightness of it, it actually also reduces carbon emissions.
所以我们一定要有信心，怎样来去改变我们的家园，怎么样使地球变得美丽，所以这就是我们的奇迹，对吗？
So we should move ahead with full confidence, and we have full confidence in every one of you today. Full steam ahead to really tap on and unleash the creativity you have to create a better and beautiful Singapore. Not just that, but as an example to the rest of the world, show what we can do here as well.
Yes. 今天新加坡公共理事会和新加坡教育部以及J.O.E 环保联盟一起推出2023变废为宝的竞赛，这是我们对可持续发展的承诺，更是对年轻一代无限潜力和美丽未来的致敬。
Yeah. So with this spirit, turning waste into wonder, J.O.E Alliance, in collaboration with MOE and PhD, proudly unveils Bulky Waste to Wonder Competition 2023. And we firmly believe that this competition is not just about emphasizing the reuse of old items or repurposing them, but really encouraging everyone to think outside the box and creatively turn waste into masterpieces of innovation.
在我们尊敬的合作伙伴 J.O.E is Clement, and Chaco, here, 还有合作伙伴的 History, 还有为全力支持下，我们这些有抱负、充满责任心和使命的年轻理想家们，将在新加坡环保日这一天，把他们的梦想变成现实，可持续发展书写一篇意义非凡的篇章。
So under the guidance of our respected partners JLL and Eyelid, and with the full support of our professional OEM partners E3 and Eyelid, we hope to together jointly will make designs a reality. We will have them showcased on SG Clean Day, and it will be a good example for the rest of Singapore and the world.
在这里，我郑重的呼吁大家，请把变废为宝的竞赛好消息分享给您们的家人、朋友、同事，鼓励更多的年轻人参与其中，共同行动，净化我们的家园，保护我们的未来。
Yeah, so in the spirit of community and sustainability, I humbly request each of you to spread word about this competition, especially to those youth and those in education, and together let's inspire and be inspired.
最后，我再一次感谢大家的到来。今天各位见证历史，当历史，每一位来宾都在为一个绿色、环保、永续发展的新加坡扮演着独特和重要的角色。Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone, thank you to our speakers. Can we give them a round of applause again? Welcome address and the remarks. We would like to do one group photo before we go into the serious design workshop. Would we be getting them to? Yeah. So can I get the photographers to come to the front? And we will take one shot from the front first. Okay.
Stand up, push your chair 往后推一点。Just one step back. So we don't make sure the front one gets a very big face. Are we okay? Let the photographer check. Check first. Okay, wait. No, wait. Focus. You just enter. Okay, come sit. And then everyone have a face. You look at the first camera first. And this camera okay, okay. Fast. Wait. With this camera first. Say smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. You can stop, smile. Be happy. So smile. My social. Hang on. I see, okay. Is it a boomerang or what? 0.5? Can we do 0.5? Okay, 0.5. 0.5 like that. 0.5, the boomerang. You must be like me. So I'm 40 years old, I'm over 40, but I have 0.5. Hey, you got a 0.5 no? Everything said? Not. 0.5? Okay. It's that okay. I think the photos to some of the video was 0.5 like this kind. Can you speak a Chinese? Can you speak a Chinese? 我们要偏过去。哦，偏过去，我把你们偏过去啊。Keep some more clean, okay? At the count. Ready? Keep some more clean from here. At my count. 1, 2, 3. Keep. Wait. 你说 OK， 这里开始了，不要看掉我老板的脸。好 ，OK， 啊，有看到这个脸有一点大了。OK， ready? 1, 2, 3. 好，这边。他们那个后面的座椅可以在空隙里面出现，不然真正看不到。因为推荐哦，你 move nearer， 是的。他不会在那里后面。我看应该是那样。啊，有这来吃啊 ！OK， 哇，手上来拿掉。OK， 你说 OK， 去 GPR 都可以轮不多啊，等他来。对，你好，先看这里先 OK， 3、2、1，完了那个。好，来到你啊，对，给1、2、3。非常好，
Everyone, I'm sure everyone is now energetic and refreshed after moving around. Okay. We'll now be going to our design workshop and we'll be and I would like to introduce Mr. Clement, so the design director of J.O.E Design Solutions, to come up and join us. He will be going through the fundamentals of good design to everyone here.
Let's get a bit more energy. I'm not that formal, so let's keep it that way. Okay. So, yeah, design, I'll just really go through what we do as business, but before that, I'll go through a bit on myself. So earlier on, we started to actually spoke about secondary school students how we can do something in the future, right? So, in fact, I actually decided to be in interior science since I was 15. So I actually spoke to my parents then and said, no matter the outcome of programs, I want to do it. So in fact, I actually managed to get a good AC by 2001 with the Student design. Fortunately, they allowed me so I can pass my career next time. Right, so just touch a bit on J.O.E. So J.O.E. is actually a web-based so J.O.E. is actually a real estate company, but within the real estate company business, we are actually one of the largest design studios in the US. So all in all, across globally, we have 1,500 people strong. Southeast Asia, APAC region, 150. So in Singapore, I have about 20 teams. Okay, so just touch a little bit about it. So design is always about people, right? You always want people to work for spaces, people, you want spaces to work for people, you want spaces to work. The last thing you want is to design something and you have to maneuver around the world. That's not the right kind of design. Right, so that links to our sustainability as well. This is very key to this day and age right now. If we can design things very easily, straightforward, that's fine. Then how can it impact the next generation, how it impact subsequent outflow situations, that's something that we take a lot of importance in. This is something that we take into consideration every single part of the design. Yes, we know there's been the awards, there's always awards for certification, but it doesn't mean that you do your certification, then you need to consider this. It should be inbuilt into our DNA, natural DNA, and how we use spaces. Right, so research, I think this is very important. Don't always assume that you know everything, or don't assume how people would react. So in terms of this competition, I would say, go interview people, understand how people want to use the spaces. Because how you use it, maybe your uncles may not want to see. Because different types of mindset, different types of people get. So I think the activation of spaces and function is something that we should do. Just a couple of things that we do, so we do actually mainly interior design, but we do a lot of consultancies and all. So if you are interested in any of this, feel free to catch me later on my chat, I think that's fine. Yeah, but today I will deep dive maybe into the conversations that we talk about how the people can design. So just a few things that we look at learning, collaborating, I think this is very important. Step one, to put in local context is be very able and very visible. Because ultimately when you ask questions, this is where you can dig enough for some people, and that is how we can get more information. So collaboration is always very critical. It is our teamwork, and then it's never our single solitude. So then we will do it. So that's a snapshot of the studio in Singapore, so I'll go too much about this. Okay, so just to look at what makes good design. Anybody here, I mean, what is a good design? I don't have question more to you. I can lose me there. What? That's right. I'll give a hint. So a good design actually comes from a character who need Alice. So firstly, you look at it, it's experience. How you want anyone to actually feel when you're using the space, the furniture, item, anything. Because when you look at it, you're creating something for people. You want that experience for the person, positive aspect. How you envision the experience will be something that you would have to formulate to create experience. Next are ergonomics. So I believe a lot of people know what ergonomics are. Anyone don't know what ergonomics are. I know you only know one type. It's actually three types. Right, the emotions. I think this is something that's important. How would you want to display the emotions, how you want people to feel? Simple as like higher ceiling, you feel more freedom. Low ceiling, you feel a bit more security. So even in a space, simple place like that actually creates experience. Okay, so that's not my experience. So user experience. I will not bore you with all this complex, but ultimately these are just snapshots of what we can actually look for. How we want the space to actually interact, the furniture to interact. How is it designed for? I think that's what we need to look at to understand and dig into how we want to repurpose or how it navigates to the competition. So this is critically important. If your iPhone UX is not the way it is, nobody will buy it. Even if your specs are good,
There's technology and people cannot use it, no one can buy it. So it's a simple aspect of that, that when you sell something, it has to resonate, it has to come in as a unit. Okay. Ergonomics. So earlier I spoke about ergonomics. There's actually three types of ergonomics. What is very commonly well known is physical ergonomics. Right. Then you look at it, there's three cognitive ergonomics. And the last would be organizational ergonomics. So this is what I'll touch on. And so ultimately, you can always go online to actually find a little bit more. I won't dive too much into this study more. But what you can focus about it is physical ergonomics in this solution. A little bit about it. I think that would be very good. Okay, so physical ergonomics. Very familiar with all of us. The height of the chair, what works for us, at the same time, how we actually navigate this system with us. I think this is what we more accustomed to. Chairs are 84, 50 high, 500 I'm speaking and by the way. So we have about 55 high, tables are 50 high. I think this is something that we can actually look at to see how we navigate through space. So if the table is too high, sometimes you have a bar table, your chairs are too low, you feel a bit more uncomfortable. So this is physical ergonomics. So from there you can navigate not through heights, but as well as horizontal theme as well. That's how you look at the table as well. So when you look at the table, there's a certain depth that's really furniture to design. Because there's this free zone that we get, where you place the monitors, where you the keyboards, and when there's the user options. So these are things that we look at. Tables that are too long, it's actually, yes, it's nice, it's beautiful, but it's not really that useful too much because you have many and skills. So there's always a balance between how we navigate through the processes. Okay, cognitive ergonomics. Anyone knows the reason why I put global? Yeah, this is PS5 control over there. Cognitive ergonomics means things training mentally, you know, navigate through things without actually. Right, so when you actually familiar with device like this, your eyes are always on screen, but you actually know which buttons to press. So this is actually a little bit more close cognitive ergonomics, where things comes naturally how to navigate through different things without actually focusing on it. It comes in a very subconscious experience, which is something that should happen in a Buddhist. Right? So lastly is organizational. What this means is that when things are clustered together, things work seamlessly. So I'll just take this chair as an example. So this is ergonomic chair, that's physical ergonomic. When you want to tilt back and front, back off, this is a cognitive ergonomic where we actually comes naturally. When you put all this clustered together, whether the things work well within an office setting, that is what the organizational ergonomics comes with. Okay, so far I'm going too fast. When you slow down, I want to keep the pace going. So yeah. Okay, so next emotion. I think this is something that we need to look at that is actually critical, especially now that we are repurposing, providing second life to furnitures or viewings. I think we need to hit this part visually. Only when I think this I will look at this part visually as well. Because we want to have the wall feeling with things happening. I think that's the effective part that we need to look at to ensure that things happen. Okay, so a picture like this taken in 1950s. Right? No, it's actually not 1950s. So what I'm trying to get to is that colors actually play a part in how things are perceived. Right? So that's actually a critical part that we need to look at. That's something that we can utilize colors and understand how space is. Okay, so essentially what is color psychology? It's actually a mental state that we mentioned about different colors. Right? So as an example of snapshot of all this, various different types of background. So if there's red, there's blue, there's actually different parts of perspective in our psyche that actually resonate. So then the next question comes into what is black, white, yellow. Black, white timbers, we can look at it as shades, look at it as foundational colors, the extent of to build on this as well. Timbers, I'll say, is on a similar approach, but timbers gives a bit more warmth to the energy. So if you have close of timber, like it's something that so once you actually get this, you perhaps know what colors you're going to play with. There's also a rule of thumb of how many colors you can play with. So you can Google, there's actually some formula ratio to that. I think that was as well. But not to forget, colors actually present in cultures as well. So red is the Asian culture and red is the European culture. Blacks and whites could be generated differently as well. So this is one aspect that we think other than pushing the game of cultures, whether what we are targeting towards. Industries as well, those are things that we get for branding, marketing, how we can achieve get into that aspect. So colors are actually very important in our usage because we feel colors in this space, that's actually the subconscious experience of the video. So some applications that we can look at. So if you look at this aspect over there, that's a general market of things. But once you have gradient and flex block, you actually draw attention to single part. So that's something that we look at. Areas that we want to solve out that are impactful, you can actually find colors in areas. Even if you look at the market, so without simple, this actually brings a more executive environment for these spaces. So these are things that we can play about. Swing around balance to see how we can design the spaces. So far, so good. I think I will get 30 minutes, so I have so if I move on, I'll say more. But yeah, otherwise, thank you very much for the time today. Thank you for everything else.
So much, Clement. And now we'd like to invite Jackie, the founder, for Triple Eyelid to join us, where he'll be speaking on the different designs.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Jackie. I started Triple Eyelid back in 2014. And also want to thank the organizer for inviting me here and share my story. And also Clement, the previous speaker, he is actually my classmate back in 2004. Yeah, it was a long time ago. We both started learning interior design. And we took very different paths. I'm glad that he has a lot of experience in user interface and design in terms of how to produce things, right? So I actually did interior design consultancy as early part of my career. I realized that soon after that, there's a lot of designs that I was doing which were overseas. I don't really touch it. I don't feel it. There was even once when I was in Thailand and I walked past, hey, this design looks familiar. Oh, it belongs to me. I haven't seen it. I designed that, but I didn't see it. I felt that there was something missing. I really wanted to try and come up with something that maybe when I touch it, I feel a bit of sense of accomplishment. Right? So that's where I started to think, and I talked to my boss, and I don't really feel it. I don't really feel that I want it. Right. So he asked me, what do you want? So I thought a lot. Back in my uni days, I did furniture. I built some furniture in architecture school, and I really liked it. I felt that there was a need to combine what I learned, which is sustainable architecture, and also furniture making. So not just designing furniture, but making furniture for myself. So hence the name Triple Eyelid, because when I first started, I built, or even until now, I built every single furniture with my hands, right? Luckily, I still have all my fingers. But Triple Eyelid really means that when you're building things and you're doing things by yourself, it's so tiring that you get one more eyelid, right? So that's when I realized, oh, there's some sense of accomplishment which I really like. Okay, so these are some of the designs that we come up with since 2014 when I first started. And I'm not sure if you can tell, they are mainly made by pallets, those cargo pallets, right? So you see some pallets furniture over here as well, right? So that's exactly the wood that we use. But when I first started the studio, I really wanted to try and move away from pallet-looking furniture. So what I'm trying to say is that we can use a very typical material with good design sense. We can actually apply functionality, good aesthetics to make it blend into many different areas, not just pallet-looking, industrial-looking furniture, right? It should be able to fit into most environment. Okay. So sorry. All right, so basically this is just the background of what we do, and initially we really wanted to just reduce local waste, right? So that's why over the years we have invitations to start factories overseas, but we really do not think that is the way to go, because that is not reducing local waste. We have to ship our waste overseas and then process it. Doesn't make sense. More carbon footprint, right? So we insisted in building our furniture locally, right? And try to have more people buy or use it, because if your furniture still looks pallet and there's no price to it, there's no design to it, it has a very niche market. So we try to move out and try to come up with something that is sustainable, yet very modern and fits most interior. Okay. So if you haven't seen pallet before or you don't visit, this is a typical image of a pallet, right? So it comes with a standard length of most pallets comes with 9 cm by 1200. Yeah, 1200, 120 cm. Okay, so the difference between most carpenter and what we do is that most carpenters start off with a huge big piece of wood and then they cut the size. Whereas for us, we have to start from whatever we can collect, be clever about it, use as much as we can with whatever material we find. Okay, and why did I choose pallet wood is because when I first started, it's everywhere. I started my first workshop in Woodlands Industrial Estate. Pallet wood is everywhere. You can just pick it up. Okay, so when I went around with a trolley, Karang-Guni, all this pallet, my mom was quite sad because hey, why is my son doing this? After starting architecture school and coming back and becoming like a Karang-Guni, right? So I had to convince her, give me a few years, I will show you what we are going for, right? So if I'm not like this, usually I look like this. Okay, I'm in the workshop building my furniture, and my background as an architecture student, interior design actually helps in terms of thinking outside the box, because I am not trained in traditional furniture. So in my designs, you see a bit of architecture, you see a bit of interior design shadow, yeah. But I'm really glad that what Clement brought up just now, what makes a good design. So he already answered that. So I really want to highlight what makes a good designer. Okay, so I ever talked to an Australian designer, and but he did mention the one word that makes a good designer is empathy. So you have to think for your client, you have to think for whoever is using the furniture after this. Right. So put yourself in the shoes. If you're designing for a pregnant lady, how would you design that furniture? Right. So always have empathy for your client, for your suppliers, and try to come up with something that benefits everyone. Yeah. Okay, so this is just material choice. We started out doing like copper pipes, stainless steel, cement, any type of industrial waste. But why we settle on pallet wood is because we have a lot of architecture partners. They have all these wood pallets that are on site that nobody wants. It's just being discarded, cut up, grinded up, but most of this wood becomes mulching, it becomes fertilizer, which we think they are usable materials. Why not try to build something out of them? Right? So back in 2014, when we started this, no one really cares about cycling, repurposing, but we really want to try and bring something new into the market. Okay, so this is what we do in the workshop. So we pick up anything that is unusable. We have to sadly discard them, because if they're too rotten, we wouldn't want them to be in our house, right? So anything that are usable, we send them for heat treatment. It's like a giant oven. You dry the wood, make sure there's no moisture, make sure there's no bugs in them. And after they're dry, we have to flatten them, which is called grinding. Okay, grinding. If you know the term S4S, meaning to say all four sides are straight and 90 degrees to each other. So once the wood are S4S, we have to turn them into panels. Okay, so most carpenters, like I said, they work with big panels of wood. Whereas for us, we start off with small panels of wood. Anything that we want to build, we have to join them up into bigger materials, and then we have to cut them. So the design that we come up with because it's so hard to make do this process, we have to ensure that we make use of every single cm of the material, right? So that is why we really consider what we are building and try not to overuse the materials. Right, so this is one of my interns doing sanding, cutting the size, and making sure that the whole furniture is built in-house. Okay, so we try to come up with new designs and also not too pattern looking, because that is something we really want to steer away. And the design philosophy for us is just very clean, simple, minimalist. We do not want anything that is ornamental. Meaning to say, if it doesn't add on to the function, why do we need it? Right? So it actually allows the furniture to go into many different interiors rather than just industrial looking interiors. And also, all designs must be functional, right? So we do not do anything that is just decorations. We want, even if it's a decoration, there must be a function. It could be a baby rate, it could be a phone holder. There must be something that you're building for. Okay, so if I were to judge the competition, this is something that I really look out for. Function is must, and also try not to go too ornamental. Okay. Right, this is some of the services that we provide in-house. We do conduct corporate workshops a lot, so we do have clients bringing the whole team over to learn about sustainability and what kind of materials we're using. And we do allow them to do hands-on products. So at the end of the workshop, you can actually bring home all these products, or you could help your office to build furniture. So 6 person building a counter for your office. I think that is quite meaningful as well, right? So bespoke furniture, this is what we have always been doing. We take custom projects all the time, and retail products. We do a bit of retail products, which is not a lot because it doesn't really make sense for us to do retail locally with local hours, local rental, and all that. So retail is something that we only do online. We do not have any physical stock. Right? So main part of the business is bespoke furniture. Corporate gifts as well. Usually at the end of the year, we take a lot of orders for corporate orders. Okay, and because we do it in-house, we can actually prototype in-house. We can customize every single corporate gifts, and also the client can actually choose. You know, I want this, I want this. But I always tell them, because wood is such a natural material, you shouldn't really choose it. If it's really ugly, we can use it for other projects. But because it's so natural, try to embrace that as a fact of the material. We try not to remove anything that is too unnatural. Okay. Interior feature as well, because currently I'm still doing interior design, and we try to propose the ideas of doing interior design features, or even platforms, bar counters, things like that, out of sustainable materials. So interior design is a bit hard to go into for sustainability because of just the fact that how not many people are willing to pay for it and willing to go for this kind of look. So it's still within an experimental period for us. Okay, and of course we do have school upcycle workshops. So we go to primary schools every year. We go to a few primary schools to give them a bit of talk about sustainability and also challenge them. You know, what kind of products can you make out of these materials? So the things that they make must be something that is functional. So go and ask your grandmother what they need. Ask your uncle what they need. And then do a design thinking, come up with something that we can help you to build. Okay. So previously, I think there's a student from RGS. So we actually worked with RGS, I think back in 2018 when we shifted campus, right? So at that time, the main architect was my friend. So we have no choice but to fall a few trees for the new location. Right? So at the new location, we have a lot of local fallen trees. We have mahogany, ansana, tumbusu. So all this wood, we actually brought it back to the school. I'm not sure if you have seen all these planter boxes. Yeah, okay. So we actually made planter boxes, huge planter boxes for the school and also for the 2018 graduating class. They actually created a lot of mini planter boxes out of these trees. And it's like a gift for the school. So yeah, this is some of the projects that we do, in collaboration with local schools. Right, so this is a product of what we do. So we really like the idea of repurposing as much as possible. So when the client brings something to us, even it's like, this is my dad's favorite architecture crafting table, for example, or sewing machine. We'll try to repurpose it and make it into something meaningful that they can continue to use it and still keep the story going, right? So this is the type of project that we really love. And also, sad to say, there are a lot of companies who are giving us waste products without asking us to turn it into anything. So essentially, it's like a garbage disposal. But as much as possible, we would like to repurpose. We would like to change or add new functions to the furniture. Okay, this is another. Trying to showcase this. So this was my previous workshop. So we built everything from scratch. Flooring, wall, all the metal structures, everything was built from scratch. And this table and chair set was actually made from architectural rebar. So this was discarded, and the tabletop was actually bala wood from we took it from an arts. It's bala wood from a bridge that we took it back. Okay. It has been outside for like 20, 30 years. So when it was dismantled, we were there, told the contractor, hey, can you give us enough? And try to repurpose it to something useful. So we still have quite a bit of all this kind of wood left. Really, we have to design based on whatever wood we have in stock. So we can't just like, okay, I'll give you 30 pieces of this, which we cannot. So we have to see what kind of wood are reclaimable. Then we will do the design. So it's a bit of reverse design. We can start off with the material. We start off with what can we do? Can the material support them? Right? This is another mini project for my nieces and nephews. So I have some time I would like to build furniture for my family. So we do encourage kids to join furniture making as well, because that is a kind of culture that we are lacking. The ability to repair and the ability to build. Because I ever had engineers coming to my workshop who doesn't know how to operate drill, right? Because they are software engineers, there are other types of engineers. This is something that is very lacking in the modern Singapore society, which I think the ability to repair and build is actually quite a good skill set to teach young people about this, right? So that's why we have public workshops every weekend in our studio in Ang-Mo-Kio. You can sign up with your with your friends, come in, make some matches, it's a fun thing. If you learn a bit of skill set, if your chair spoils for some reason, replace it, repair it, don't throw it. Right, this is another product that we did quite a bit. So again, the metal frames are actually made from rebar, architectural rebar. So we cleaned this a lot, did a bit of welding in-house. So all these skill sets are missing in the current society. So if you haven't tried welding, I would strongly encourage. It's very fun, but also very frightening. Okay, but I'll be there to get it. So this is made from pellets and rebar, totally 100% repurposed. There's some other projects that we never did. There's too many other projects. I just want to highlight this. I think because of the fact that we're using pallet wood, it's not just local pallets, but pallets that have been traveling around the world, right? So usually the story about pallets is after you heat treat, you can use it one more time, and the heat treatment is done. So whatever chemicals is inside, it doesn't really translate into the next life. Okay, but there are other things that we don't do, which is kids, toys, and also food-related items because of hygiene, right? We wouldn't know what chemicals have been in them. But this is just something that is really nice. I have no idea where this timing comes from. It's just in the whole stack of pallets that we received from the supplier. And we realized, hey, this is very nice. We could make this into a feature furniture. You wouldn't be able to get this anywhere else. Yeah. So we did like a big frame, dining table, anything that is related to loose furniture, we will do. Customize kitchen cabinet, that one is a bit hard for us. So we try to steer away from that, mainly doing solid wood furniture. Okay, and yeah, even customized projects like this, planter boxes. If you are someone with green fingers, you could do something to showcase in your balcony. So we did this for this program. I'm sure you have seen this. It's in Taiwan, the first outlet. So yeah, so I think right now the biggest project that we ever had was with WWF. So we actually did the 2018 of our before COVID happened. So we actually considered what will happen to the furniture after the event. So everything in the event, I'm not sure if you have been there, are made from pallets that are reused. So we reuse every single screws, we reuse every single piece of material and wood. So as much as possible, think about not just the current usage, but the next life, okay, and the next life. Okay. So we also try to make our furniture repairable. If one piece pops up or breaks, can we repair it? Okay, that's also another consideration for sustainability. Okay, so right now this is what we're trying to contribute. We set up a upcycle workshop space, for the community. If you would like to come in and do some repair works, you could actually use our space and our tools as well. Okay, so we will have instructors to guide you on that, promoting the usage of clean wood as much as possible. So recently there was a development right before the park relocated. So Nanda actually asked me if I wanted 1,000 trees, which is impossible for me to take in such a small business. But we worked with a sawmill who cut heat timbers. So they actually took back most of the wood, heat treat them. So we are still taking the wood after they are treated. Okay, so that's another way we can make use of fallen wood. And also, yeah, educating the public on the importance of sustainability. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now I would like to invite Lisa and my colleague who will be sharing a bit more about the submission process, which I think a lot of you will be interested to know. Yeah, after which, so you hold your questions. So after which we will do a quick Q&A where all of you can ask your questions to any of our speakers here. So let me invite Lisa to brief on Lisa.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Clement. So, okay, so I know some of you have actually writing, your teachers have written to us asking where is the template and how, where is the submission form. So, this is how I'm going to show you the steps, and you can also use your phone to scan the QR code. Okay, are you ready? Can I? You all already read? So basically, we will have this instruction together with the template. What we need to do, later we'll show you about 8 of them. We need you to decide which item would you like to pick up and work on it. We need you to find, to at least give your design on name and do a sketch how you would repurpose or redesign the item that in the template. So these are some of the instruction because this is on the submission form, so I'm not going to go through directly in details. Okay, so these are some of the designs that we have picked up, some of the bulky furnitures used also item. So we actually have the definition of all these items, and this will help you to decide when you want to repurpose this piece of furniture, what else can you change it to? I don't know whether Jackie, you have any suggestions how the participant can perhaps look at how can they redesign this coffee tables?
I think for the first item, we have to look at the materials usable. So we will separate the glass top first and then see what kind of materials are internally. Because most of the time, internal materials are like keyboards, MDF, which is unusable unless you really take the time to take it apart. So I would say we will look at which part is the solid wood part. So the
This is a functional test of systems operation in the building.
Okay, it works on the weekend.
Yeah, so I would say class-wise, we will try to make it a display, obviously.
This is a functional test of systems operation
Yeah,
in
so
the building.
class-wise, we have to see whether it's a tempered glass or a full glass. So if it's a tempered glass, there's no way you can change it. So any time will make it. Right. Why do I have the same treatment?
This is a functional test of systems operation in the building. Please. Thank you.
So yeah, again, we have to look at the type of glass.
Public address system test.
You know where this comes.
Functional test of systems operation in the building. Please. Thank you. Public address system test. This is a functional test of systems
Okay,
operation.
and I think I'll just speak louder than me. So the height of this table is 550, which I think is the perfect height for a bar stool. So we could use the legs as a bar stool counter, and perhaps the glass part. If we can cut it, we will measure and see how many pieces we cut. If not, it could be a vertical display cabinet. Really nice. So definitely there's something to try. But the finishing, we will have to think about it when we disassemble. Because there's no way you can know what kind of food this is and what finishing has been done to it. It could be a veneer, it could be a stain, it could be just foil. So we have to send it up and then see what is the pan material first. Okay.
Public address system test. This is a functional test of systems operation in the building. Please.
So I think basically, I think what Jackie has shared is, you just have to break down all the whole furniture first and look at the different parts, and then decide how you can make use of the different parts to build something that is different, within the whatever is the material has provided. So this is one of the example, and I will just go through the list and show you. Okay, so we also have these wooden chairs. Yes, cabinet, tables, training tables. So you can see the training tables actually we have the leather list. So there's something that you can consider. So these are the 8 designs, the templates that we have. This is available on the website. So like I shared, look at dimension, look at what kind of materials, then take the item that you would like to work on, and subsequently once you finish it, either you use do a digital artwork, physically download and do a sketch. And we need you to take a photograph or scan, and then basically, right, your work should not be exceed 3 MB. And actually, this is the submission form about the competition. There's some introduction, and then moving down, we need you to fill. If you're joining as an individual, put your name. If you're joining as a team, put your team, and then under the name of team member, you just put in because we do not allow more than 3, so I would expect to see 2 to 3 names. And then, but if you join as an individual in that column, just put not applicable. Put in the name of the school, your email, how can we contact you, and please check your email, because the reason I say that, because I also have a form for you to sign up for the workshop, and when I inform the participant about the reminder of today's workshop, I have some bounce back emails. So just make sure that you send correct email number. And this is where you can actually upload your design. Okay, so please, I think for your entries, right, if possible, just put a name. It could be your name or your team name, and then what is the design title, and then from which school. So it's actually for us to collate the entry easier. And subsequently, we need you to actually, put in how you are inspired to come up with a design and what you hope the design could achieve certain goals, certain aim. And then you, so maximum size is 3, and just put it in, and then you said submit. Okay? So that's about it. Since the team is going to speeches. Yeah. So I will let Kim, ask you all about if you have any query, just bring it up here. We have all our industry partners here, experts here to help you. Okay.
The team will not ask questions, but team will ask. Okay.
Sorry, I'd just like to add on something because I think it's worth to actually emphasize on a few of the information that we have regarding the competition. So can I just take your attention on this? So I think most of you actually know how this works, right? So my colleagues have actually explained. So when you actually do the design, yes, I actually mentioned that you submit it through the form and the template itself. Then what we are going to do is you can only choose one item. So don't do multiple items and send in multiple entries. So only one entry per person. Choose the one that you prefer to work on. Maybe more materials might be better because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So you could actually do that. Then from there, we will actually choose 5 different designs that have been shortlisted. We will actually make it into a real product. So you will actually be able to see and look and feel, the actual product come into life. So your dream will actually be turned into reality, right? It's no longer just a piece of paper. That's why we have partners like E3 as well as Willie who will actually help us to do all of that. And of course, maybe Jackie as well, maybe we can get his support on this. So that might be another possibility. Then there's actually, so I think this one also mentioned that you could actually participate as a group, right? So maximum is actually 3%. You cannot actually enter with more than 3%, and you should be from the same school. Okay, so there are key dates that we should actually note. So you could mark it down in your calendar as well, because I think it's important that you attend some of these activities that we have. So, for example, the closing date is very important, right? 13 September, before midnight, 11:59. Yes. So, submit it before 13 September, 11:59, and we'll make the announcements of the finalists on the 29th of September. Following which the judging will actually be announced on the 29th of October. That coincides with Public Hygiene Council's quarterly actually day as well. That day, where a lot of public spaces actually see sweeping, we will actually be holding a prize presentation and we will announce the winners of the sport. So judging is actually done on the spot as well. Okay, I think the criteria that you could actually read through, but I think, the highest percentage that we have is functionality. As Jackie mentioned, as, even Clement mentioned, the functionality is very important. It should be something that, not just decorative, that, you just leave it there and it takes a second look and it's a place with aesthetically pleasing. So it shouldn't be that, it should actually hold a certain function to it. So do take note of that, and of course we need you to actually put in as much creativity as possible as well. Okay? Importantly, this is very important. The main motivation, right? So the first prize actually gets to win $750 in cash. Okay, and we will actually be having 5 prizes in total, so the shortlisted entries will all get something besides seeing the product come into fruition. So please encourage your friends to actually participate, get everybody to, this is good money. Okay, and you're also doing your bit for the environment as well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gloria. Okay, now we are really going to the Q&A. So we will be taking questions for any of the speakers. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you go right ahead. Maybe do an introduction of yourself and then I'll come to it. Okay.
Yeah, I think my question is
Okay.
that's the question about the competition. You choose one of the 8 items in the template. You do not go scouring around and taking photos of what you want. No, we must choose one of the 8.
And the reason is, when we choose a finalist, right, our partners like E3, Hygiene and VD, they are actually taking the billing entry tag and ship it to the box. So they are taking from this page.
So second question, the repurposed item that we have to find must also be a piece of furniture, or can it be something else other than furniture?
If you ask me, I think it's anything else because it's repurposed about information. We encourage everyone to throw those used items at home, but repurpose it. So it need not become a furniture.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the furniture piece, but I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think it should be functional, something that can be used. So, it doesn't, it doesn't have to be something that you sit on or sits in the living room or something, but you could actually use it for other purposes as well.
One final question actually for the maybe more pertinent to the founder of the project. I noticed what you shared was very interesting. You take waste food and started food and make something that is useful. But from what I saw from the competition, they were actually asking us to use pieces of furniture that already serves a particular function. Jumping on the idea of during the champion speech where the Japanese designer took of sport for seawater soaps, and then we had it. So why not prepare those things, the 8 items?
You could really repair, but we also wanted to turn into something else because it already serves its purpose for life. So the next time we could use creativity to give it another purpose.
So I think creativity value add the item.
Yeah.
So just to add to that as well, I think, having because sometimes we just want people to rethink, right? Because you may not want to actually use the item anymore, even though it's repairable. You might think that actually it's not fit for use. You don't think it looks good anymore in your living room. That piano is actually not nice. Then you might want to actually not just throw it away, but you want to make it turn into something else. So that's what we mean by giving it a second lease of life and making it into something different. Yeah. So that was the objective of this.
Thank you so much. Okay, any questions from our students here? No pressure. Best chance to ask the questions since all the speakers are here. Any questions? Submission process? Anything?
Carrie, very confident.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. So I think I was pointing about colors and psychology and stuff. So the materials provided are obviously guys wood and metal. I think you check whether we are when compared to the kind of design, are we allowed to add colors whether improve it, or is it just the raw material that's being changed?
I think what we prefer is creativity, because what we have that is the foundation of this. So it doesn't mean that we only have these materials over there. If there's any ideas that is easily accessible, because ultimately we have to fabricate the item. So if you have an item that you really want to put the product, you feel so make sure you have the material on hand so that at least you can add that on to it, because otherwise we're using that base as the foundational item.
Okay, so maybe other recycled materials.
Possible, yeah. Yes, I think that's the whole purpose of this exercise. Base material and repurpose the second time. But if you feel that there's something that you add on, just keep in mind that it has to get us for an issue.
I mentioned reference goals. I have a question about the how we can possibly like repurpose these items, because like the speakers mentioned, if you wanna repurpose something, you may need like a lot of facilities like heat treatment, which is not very accessible to like us. So I have a question: if we are gonna repurpose these items, is it something that we can do at home ourselves, or is it something that we can use like such facilities?
Yeah, I need to clarify. You mean you want to build the item yourself?
Right.
I got a question. So that's a very good question, but because this is the first time we're all doing this competition, so the intent is to be really simple for everyone, and therefore we come out with a furniture template. And actually, the students, you guys just need to craft out your design. Else in a company description, what kind of materials, colors, textures you want to use, and then we'll pass your design in brief forms to our manufacturers who then fabricate the designs. Of course, if you have certain materials, recycled materials that you install yourself, you bring them to us, pass it on to our partners, and then we add it all to the final piece. But in terms of doing heat treatment and all this, no need for you guys to do the actual answers and questions.
And also, I think very important point is, if you want to add on certain materials, do make sure that you don't actually buy them, but really locate where you can find all this that you want to add on to the solution.
Actually, beyond the competition itself, your question is also related to, like, everybody else who actually wants to think of, oh, today I want to throw this away, but maybe I should actually think about what I can do. And I want to turn this into something else, and I can't do it at home. So what should we do, right? So you could actually get in touch with facilities that actually do it. So for example, at J.O.E, they have all these kind of workshops and facilities. If you have a particular idea in mind, then don't throw it away. Maybe make some research, do some research in terms of who you can get in touch with and what else can you be doing with such a product. Then I think that is our objective, this particular competition that we're trying to do. It's really just for you to actually make a step forward and try to actually create something else. So there are resources that are actually available out there, and it's for just one of them. But if you actually read on a little bit more, get in touch with, I'm quite happy that we can actually know about this one.
Comment, students. Hi all. I was looking at your faces and I was reminded about many of the students that have. I'm also I'm in the industry. I've been designing for 50 years, and it's hard to believe 50 years. I've also been elected. So I just wanted to share with you a process that you're going to experience that will surprise you, and that will be you're going to be confused first time sitting down. What's my idea? What's my purpose? And you will go through this process where you're just going to scratch your head and say, I don't know what I'm doing. And when you come to that point, that's going to be normal. Every process that we go through is like that. We are just trying to figure out what it is. We don't have all the information. What's going to happen is you're going to feel like you're in a big yarn and you're all tangled up. And in time, that yarn is going to stretch out and it's going to be clear to you. Which means don't give up. Don't be so confused. Don't be so frustrated about it. But that is, by the way, the design process. And if you're working with a group, you'll be looking at each other and think, is this right? And you're questioning it. And that's also part of the process. There's a really famous designer called Thomas Heatherwick. Thomas Heatherwick is not an architect, but he is an incredible designer. And he has always approached the process of design like a detective. because he has to figure out what am I trying to solve. And that might be a clue for you. When Gloria talks about the functionality, just to find out what is the purpose, what are you trying to do? But when you feel that frustration, relax. Relax. Walk away from your desk. Actually, take a walk because sometimes your best idea comes when you're more relaxed. My idea is going to walk my dog and walk. So like, oh my gosh, that's a pretty good idea. So I share that with you because that's what we all go through as designers. So don't ignore that. The last advice with this conversation is have fun with this. Relax. Have fun. Come up with ideas that most people couldn't even think of because you don't mind it. You're students. And everybody was listening. You've got ideas that most people haven't thought about. And I can see it in your eyes like, yeah, I got ideas. Other people don't know what to put. So remind us, you're students. That is why you've been invited here. Because the best ideas we get from the industry is from you guys. So just relax and have fun with this. And trust yourself.
Thank you. One last question. Can I just check whether there's any questions on the Zoom? Okay, any one last question from the team here? Anybody on Zoom wants to raise a question? You can put on chat and let us know. If not, any questions to share? One final question. No questions? No worries if you all don't have any now and you have questions to ask us when you go home and all, please drop us an email. I think we have provided the contact details. We will be in touch to reply any of your queries, and please share this wonderful event with all your friends and all to join us in this event. If not, thank you very much everyone for joining us for the workshop. Event J.O.E's Eco Alliance will be doing a short tour for everyone here, where you can actually do a round of visits around the Sustainability Experience Center, where they will share a bit more about the whole venue and how they have set it up. So before we do the tour, thank you very much once again to all our speakers, and thank you very much for all our participants who joined us this morning. Thank you so much.